No, I just heard a voice, so I'm assuming that that's right on brand with what we're about to talk about. It was like, I was like, there's no one in my house, so hopefully that's in Justin's house.
Also, where are you? And no, there's no one in my house either. So
Yikes.
where are you right now, by the way? Because I can't tell what the background is.
The same place I've been for the last couple. I'm at my desk.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The lights made it look like you were somewhere else. I don't know.
Yes.
In a studio.
In a studio hearing voices.
Yes. Well, it relates
Not
to
like
what
in
we
my
did
head. Like people, like I
on the
heard.
outside.
It sounded ghostly.
That relates to what we did this weekend. And I
It
think we
does.
talked about it last week, but we went on a ghost tour.
We
this
did.
weekend.
And can I just thank whoever just sent that to me, because like sometimes the perfect cold open just hits you right beforehand. Kind of like with the bug. Like that was perfect.
How are you? How are you coming into the space? You feeling good?
I'm good. I'm a little sad because as you know, my dog Abby is 16 and a half, turning 17, and she's, she's doing well, but she's also like not eating a lot. Like she won't eat her dog food. She will barely eat like hamburgers, because we were trying like giving her something, not like hamburgers, like a full burger. Obviously, just like
I was gonna say,
patty.
maybe that's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
she's unwell. Is
Maybe
she's
what
eating
she-
full
yeah.
hamburgers her entire life.
No, but she'll eat like 2 slices of like roast beef, like, and barely. Like she's just coming to that age, So I'm going through a lot of like preparing myself, just like you know, she's slowing down, and from my mom was trying to prepare us, just saying like, I don't want you to, like, it to be a shock, because dogs in my or in her experience, and with our dog Callie, who passed away a few years ago, it can happen very quickly. Like one day they're running around, and then the next day they're not. So just anticipation for for that, and hopefully I'm very grateful for for the fact that she's lived as long as she had. And even when I came home from Baltimore, which is now 2 years ago, they actually brought her down to come get me, just because it was like a very quick thing, and they didn't know they didn't know they were going to be coming, so they brought her in the car, and she was fine. But when I saw her, I was like, oh wow, she's really old. Like she seems to have lost a lot of speed in the coming, or since I've seen her last. It really just had to do with the fact that she was in a new place and can't see very well, so she was slower there. As soon as we got home, she sprung to life. But I'm very grateful that she's even lived 2 years after that, and I hope she lives a long time. And she's, like I said, she's doing, like, she still goes on walks, she still does all that, but like when a dog stops eating, or
Yeah.
so thinking about that, and just then all of the thinking about just how I handle grief and how I handle loss in general. I'm not very comfortable with the way I handle it. I don't think anybody really is. I don't think anybody is like, wow, I handled that so well. Like, that was great. But
I don't think people often grade how they, well, maybe some people do. I don't want to invalidate those who do, but grade how they handle their grief.
No,
moments.
but
yeah.
But I don't know of anybody who's at a funeral that's like,
Yeah.
I'm comfortable right now. Like, this feels great. It's just kind of like, I just go inward, and I'm like, oh, am I like not reacting the right way? And I think that's a pretty common thing. I could be wrong, but people say, there's no one way to grieve. And I think that statement comes from somewhere. I don't think somebody's just on top of a mountain being like, hey, you don't all have to grieve the same,
Right.
Let's spruce it up a bit.
Right.
But yeah, so I don't know, just thinking about that.
Yeah, for sure. My dog is not far behind your dog. Jazzy is
Yes,
14, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe she
And
is.
she, this is the joke I always say. It's like, oh, because she looks like a puppy still.
Yeah,
So
so does Abby.
so people often say like, oh my gosh, how old is she? And so she's 14. And like, what? She's 14. And the joke I always say is, yeah, in the last couple of years, she's gone a little deaf and a little anxious, but aren't we all? So
Literally. Yes. Yes. Um,
um, she
yes.
still has her sight, although that might be going. She has trouble going up the stairs, so
Yes.
she barks a lot more because
Abby
she's
does
not
too.
as self-sufficient.
Yes.
But
Yes.
no, yeah,
Well,
that's something that
they're
can weigh
senior
on you.
ladies.
Yeah, they're the golden years,
They're the golden girls.
the golden girls. Yeah,
The golden dogs.
the golden pups.
Yes.
But
But yeah,
yeah, here we
I'm
are,
still.
and
Yeah, here we are.
this is also Jazzy's also my first dog. You said you had Callie. Did you have Callie? Did your parents get Callie before you were born when they were just
No.
married, or did
No.
they get them when you were a child?
So Callie actually came after Abby. So Abby outlived her.
Oh,
Callie was 11 when she died. This was only 3 years ago.
okay.
But she had diabetes and she was, yeah, she just died earlier. So she was 2 years, she would be now 14. She was 2 years younger than Abby. And it was funny because she was very much like the alpha and the bully to Abby, even though Abby
Callie was, yeah.
yeah, these years after Callie's passing have been the best years of Abby's life. And Callie was a typical bully. Like she'd eat Abby's food, she'd push her auto like if she was in her bed and Callie wanted to use it, she'd literally just get in the bed and push Abby out. But then if another dog of any size came up to Callie, she'd go on her back and put her paws up. Like she was just very afraid. So she was the classic bully, but she was very cute, and we called her Houdini because she was able to open her crate and get into she was very smart. She'd open we'd lock Abby's food in her crate so Callie couldn't eat it. She'd open Abby's crate, eat Abby's food first so it looked like Abby ate, and then she'd eat her own food instead of the opposite where she'd leave Abby's food because then we'd lock it. She always went for Abby's food first, and that was probably it could have been a dominant thing too.
Interesting.
I just coughed again, so either I'm going crazy or they haven't left
There's
yet.
definitely someone home.
I don't know. Maybe it was Abby. If I go missing, remember me as I was, unfulfilled. What did we do this weekend, first of all? Because that ties in perfectly.
Yes, I did ask how was the ghost tour to you, and we segued into Abby. No,
well, I was going to say the sonic waves around me are suggesting that we talk about ghosts, apparently. We went on a ghost tour, and it was really fun. Shout out to Ryan, who toured us around Boston, our home, and told us about the ghosts that we didn't know about. I thought it was really cool, and it was the fall vibes were immaculate. Humpty Dumpty, he's back at it again, having a great fall. Yeah, and it was great.
What were your takeaways? I thought it was definitely interesting, but it also wasn't what I expected. Because I thought it was going to be stop, we have a ghost story, a couple ghost stories, do another stop, have a couple ghost stories. But it was definitely more historical based, but it wasn't necessarily a bad thing. Like, for instance, we walked, one of the stops was the Boston Common, and I don't want to share all the stories because, people should do it themselves. But I essentially learned that the Boston Common was a mass grave, right? And so there's just it's just so many bodies still underneath the Boston Common, which I love walking through. And when I visit our friends in the city who live in the city, I often park around there. So in order to get to where I'm going, I have to walk through the park to get to my car and walk back through the park to get from my, I don't know what I said, to my car, from my car, whatever. But now I just think about it in a whole other way because it was just a mass grave, and there are probably lots of bodies under there. But that can't just be something that's characteristic of Boston. That just
No, I don't
Other
think so.
cities, I'm sure, have that too, but
Yeah, I mean, you're visiting your friends. You just didn't realize there were 500 more of them than you had planned.
underneath walking,
Yeah,
I'm walking over. Yeah, I don't know. So that I don't
yeah.
know. That was interesting. It was definitely cool hearing the history. I do enjoy history to a point, um, but that type of history was really cool because it was like these are spaces that I am around a lot and thinking about them not even decades, centuries ago, what they were used for and how they were adapted on that stuff was really interesting. What did you think about the tour?
It was exactly what I expected and, what I needed. I really loved it. I had gone, the reason it was what I expected was because I did a ghost tour in Baltimore. And it
Did you?
was,
Oh.
yes, it was freshman year. It was the night the Joanne album came out. Um, which, fun fact, Tom was in line at the Joanne restaurant trying to get a signed copy for me because she was signing autographs, but he just missed it. They stopped. They were like, all right, this is the cutoff, and he didn't make it. Anyways, Ghosts. I really enjoyed it. I thought Ryan was very funny. I thought he's a great tour guide. Ryan, if you're listening, did you do tours at Loyola? Because if you did, happy birthday. And then
I don't think he did.
impressive.
He has the personality though for
He absolutely does. He absolutely does. And I agreed with you. Like, I think it's wild to think of, oh my gosh, these weren't skyscrapers. These were people living with tube socks. Like, like that's what was here all of these years ago. I'm not going to say how many I think it was because I'll embarrass myself. Yeah, no, it was really cool. And I often think about like, and I guess this ties along with like ghosts and people coming back. Like, what would they think of us? Like, those people that were at the Boston Massacre, what would they think of us right now? Like, they were playing Shania Twain when we were standing there. Tom and I noted that. They
we were
would have
standing
been
at the Boston Massacre site. Oh, right, because there was like lots of music at the bars across the street.
Yeah, and they were playing Shania Twain, but they were also playing very much like clubby music. And what would they have thought of us? And just like, what are those screens we're holding in our hand? Okay, the door just fully opened. Is that somebody or is it a ghost? Because I'm genuinely nervous. Could somebody answer? You're like, Dad? Okay, so it is actually you. I thought you guys left and we're talking about ghosts, so I was like, I'm either hearing things or... Okay, so thank God. Because I literally thought I was going crazy on air.
No, but yeah, I think that's interesting too, because one of the other interesting facts that I learned was that the old State House, which, I don't know, maybe we'll put a picture of it on our social media, but the old State House, Ryan said, was the tallest building in the city. And it was comical when he said that because the old State House is surrounded by these giant skyscrapers now.
Yes.
And so it's just interesting, like what where the revolution started in Boston and Lexington and Concord and all that
is now sponsored by AT&T.
Yeah, that and what did those people think the world would become?
Certainly not this.
What's a tweet? That's
no, literally.
I always think that's funny. It's like, oh, wonder what our founding fathers would think of. Oh, I'm sending a tweet. Just that language that we use that's just so normalized is so strange to people who lived it like centuries ago.
I personally think they would love Twitter because they had a lot to say.
They wrote a lot of letters and a lot of documents.
Yeah, it would have saved them a lot of time. And like, what would their handles be? Like, at the Benny F, like Ben Franklin. Like, what would your handle be if you were
Mr. Lightning Kite Key or something?
Yeah,
like that?
like no, like I'm trying to think of like what would their finstas be? If you're like about to sign this piece of paper, H, like.
And have you seen Hamilton musical?
I have. I saw it with you. Yeah.
Well, yeah, on Disney Plus.
We watched it on Disney Plus.
You're right.
That was
you're
my
right.
first time seeing it, and only time seeing it.
You're right. There's I forget what musical number it is, but there's a point where they're like simulating. Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton are simulating writing letters back and forth to one another, and each each verse ends with them singing like A. Burr or A. Ham. So I wonder if just like the founding fathers, just for consistency, would all have like first initial, last name or something as their handles.
Yeah, like, but they couldn't have been that serious all the time. I want to know, like, were they like, who was the clown? Fun? No, who was the clown in the meeting? Like, they're signing the Declaration of Independence. Did somebody be like, who did someone was someone like, oh, I'm gonna write like Hugh Jass, like, like Hugh the name.
I mean, I guess John Hancock. From what we know, John Hancock was probably the funny guy because he wrote his name so big that he wanted King George III to see it without his reading glasses, according to Ryan.
That's friggin' hilarious.
But yeah,
like
humor was something else too. Then
that's what I'm saying. Like, although they always had bathroom jokes. I don't know if you knew that. But
really?
There are cave drawings of like poop jokes and bathroom jokes. So
I'm glad
like, we
some
were
things never change.
Yeah, we were never the sophisticated people that we pretend we were, and you know.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of things about those times that were not sophisticated and were actually quite brutal.
Yeah. I brought up Disney Plus, and recently I found myself watching what I would consider like old Disney Channel shows from when I was younger and that I used to watch, such as The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, Wizards of Waverly Place. Those are my two favorites. Sweet Life on Deck has its moments as well, but you know, I've been I just before recording was watching Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and I don't know, just the sense of nostalgia that's like what do you consider the Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, or whatever channels you watch? Like, what were the shows that you watched around that age? Like, not Kit when you were like a child, like, you know, because that's like what PBS Kids, Disney, Playhouse Disney that became Disney Junior.
I forgot that was a thing. Well, speaking of ghosts, I'll say I never watched Cartoon Network. I know, horrible, but
are they?
Yeah, they just died.
They did?
Apparently.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I think they're merging with Warner Brothers. But
okay,
I think
so they just died.
No. Cartoon Network is still going to be a thing. It's just not going to be its own company.
Okay, so it died. But I am excited.
You're the one with the business degree.
Aspect. Yeah, they died. I'm really excited to talk about Disney and Nickelodeon. My like Disney classics in my time were That's So Raven, which now has a spinoff, which two spinoffs. Which is
Cory in the
House. It had Cory in the House back when we were kids. And now has 5 seasons of Raven's Home, which is interestingly longer than the actual show Raven. That's So Raven. And I think it's getting a 6th season. I haven't watched it. I've watched like when it first came out. I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch it but you know, I've only really watched That's So Raven. But That's So Raven, The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, The Sweet Life on Deck, which I was not a hater to. Like everybody else was like, oh, it's not as good. Like I thought it was
clear.
Good.
I'm not a hater to it. It's just I feel like a lot of the jokes that I call back to now in my life are the original Sweet Life jokes. Like
yeah,
you know?
Yeah, okay. That's fair. And I mean, the ending was a little depressing because the boats. Oh wait, that's the Titanic. Hannah Montana was another really good one. I loved Hannah Montana, and I thought they did a great marketing. They did a great job. I don't know if you know this, but they changed her wig every season.
I did not know that.
Looked a little different. Yeah.
Wizards
of Waverly Place was great. That show bothered me because I was like, Selena Gomez's hair is different in season 2. Like multiple different haircuts. Like we're sticking to one per season. Have you ever seen Zoe
really
101?
Paid attention to their hair.
Oh, I really not just their hair. You don't know what it did to me when they changed the credit scenes for each season. I was like, oh yeah, new credit scenes. Like this is let's go.
Like the
I was very
credits?
excited. Yes, because they keep the song, they keep the the order of the people, but they change. They take scenes from the new season, and it's great. I love it so much. I'm trying to think if there were any other shows. In terms of Nick, Zoe 101 was one of my absolute favorites. Drake and Josh was great.
Oh, Drake and Josh.
Yeah.
Yes, that was a good
Drake's a bad person though, so I'm trying to think if there are any. Yeah, iCarly was great. I loved iCarly.
Yep.
I still need to get past episode 8 of the reboot. I think they have 2 seasons now, and we talked about it on our second episode, POD+. Were there any others? Did you watch Victorious? I didn't really.
That was toward the end, I feel like, of our time watching those channels.
It was.
But because I had younger siblings,
yeah,
and Be Real just went off. I don't know if you know. You saw.
Yep, I just got it.
Because I had younger siblings, like my sister was a big fan of Victoria, so I've seen pretty much every episode, and that show is a gem as well, though I have to say.
Yeah,
I've heard pretty funny episodes in that.
Yeah, no, I've seen enough of it. I just like I don't consider it one of the shows I watched as a kid. Interestingly, and I'm gonna be like outing myself, but you know what show I loved, and I loved it for the really dumb, cheesy, cringeworthy comedy? Ant Farm. I don't know why.
I hated that show. That was so dumb.
Right? It was such an easy show to hate, and I hate watched it, but I hate loved it. Like, I don't even know, or love watched it too. I don't even know.
Did you love to hate it, or no?
I loved to love and loved to hate it. Like, it was just, it was so, yeah. But still, China Anne McClain's Calling All the Monsters still holds up as one of the greatest pop songs in Disney Channel history, and quite potentially history.
That's something else. Is Radio Disney still a thing?
I don't know.
Do you remember that? Like, that was like an actual channel. I think it was AM at first, and then it became Sirius XM.
Something like that.
And there was like sweepstakes and everything. And oh my gosh, wait. Did we talk about this? I think we did. Yeah, at one point. We maybe did. The Danimals.
The Danimals? We said it at the same time. Yes, I read an interview with Cole and Dylan Sprouse. Did you ever hear about their, like, experience with that?
No.
They said it was, like, some guy that won or some kid, but I think he was an older kid, and they did the actual, like, meeting of, like, here's your skateboard, and they said it was so awkward. Like, it was just, they were like,
that is
why?
kind of a risk. Like, anyone can partake in the sweepstake. It could be, like, a kid, which I feel like they're trying to have a kid win, or, like, a grown-ass adult who just wants a skateboard.
Wants a skateboard signed by
Dylan and Cole Sprouse.
Yeah. Oh, you know what show was phenomenal on Disney? Specifically the second season, where they really revamped it?
What show?
Jonas. And specifically, the second season was titled Jonas L.A.
That show. Oh, there's an actual stink bug outside, and it's not a Western conifer bug, because
it's an actual stink bug.
After last week's episode, I looked up photo differences, and that's an actual stink bug.
Wow. Good on you.
That show feels like a fever dream, because I've saw a couple of episodes here and there, but I never really watched it, and I forgot it existed. So when you just said it, it came rushing back to me. But you liked the second. What was the difference between the first and the second season? Why did they revamp it?
The first one was very much like Ant Farm, where the humor was really, really just cringy, stupid. But like, I think intentionally, that was the style. But Jonas L.A. was like an actual drama, and it was great. And it was like just such summery vibes. Yes, no, it was a Disney Channel soap opera, and they apparently regret doing the second season, but it was just so good. It was great.
Oh my gosh, you know what show I realized my brother and I actually loved watching, although we both... What? It wasn't like... I don't even know if this was like a kid's show. But
what?
Maybe you haven't heard of this because it seems very niche, but House of Anubis?
I know. I've seen the commercials. I have not seen the actual show, but you know what that reminds me of?
It was on Nickelodeon, and it was like it was a full-on drama.
Yeah.
And they were at this like prep school, and it was like... I don't remember it fully. But for some reason, it's making me think of like a whodunit type of vibe.
Yeah, it has a Clue vibe to it.
Yeah. That was a very cool show.
You know what? Another show that I never watched, but the commercials are burned into my memory.
What?
Degrassi.
I
never watched it, but that Shark in the Water Carnival commercial that they did, the promo, like, first of all, that was always the most dramatic commercial campaign ever. Like, I just remember the commercials. It's kind of like a Grey's Anatomy, like, it's like why. Like, oh, this
What
doctor
channel
just
was Degrassi on?
Nick at Night, which was at the time it was Nick at Night, then it was The N. I don't know if you remember that, and then they went back to Nick at Night. But yeah, no, I haven't seen a single episode, but I just remember Claire's gay. I don't know. I don't know the character Claire. That's the only one I know. I know Drake was in it. He was in a wheelchair.
Claire?
Nope, the character, and it was a huge thing, and they gave it away in the commercial.
I see.
That's the only reason I know it. I haven't seen a single episode, could not tell you the premises of the show. I know Drake was in it, like Drake, the rapper.
The rapper, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like, don't you feel like there is stepping stones in television that as you grew up, these are the channels you watched? So like, when we were younger, it was like PBS Kids, Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, maybe not even Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, but more so Disney Junior, Nick Jr., and then, oh my gosh, remember Noggin?
Yes, I do.
I think
that was part of Nick.
Right?
It had to have been part of Nick Jr.
That was like when you're little, and then you get a little bit older and you start watching like Cartoon Network, Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, like the actual channels, and then you get too old for those ones. And do you remember ABC Family, which is now Freeform?
Yes.
I feel like that's then the channel that some people went to after Disney and Nickelodeon. Like ABC, like Pretty Little Liars, which was kind of intense, but like that type of show, The Fosters, Switched at Birth. Did you watch any of those shows? Are you familiar with any of those shows? Like,
nope. But I remember, you know where I remember those? And this one's seared into my memory, but at the South Shore Plaza, they used to always advertise them. And there was one, Kyle XY. I don't know why I remember this. Yeah, he didn't have a belly button. And that was the campaign. And now I'm thinking of the 10-inch belly button from the 35.
Shut up. No.
35, episode 35, the Would You Rather. But no, that was the ad. It was like he was like pulling his shirt up and he didn't have a belly button, and it was like he's an alien because he wasn't birthed really. And the posters were all over the South Shore Plaza, and I was like a little kid and I was like, what the hell is this?
Which is a mall near us.
But speaking of shows, it's funny you bring up shows because I need to read you a tweet that I thought was hysterical today. It's just this grown man tweeting this. He wrote, Max and Ruby, and on my fucking mama, I cannot stress this enough, Ruby and Max. I don't know if you watched Max and Ruby, but that was the theme song.
I think you've read that to me before. Max and Ruby.
Yes.
Ruby and Max.
I was going to say, you better hit us with this Ruby and Max.
If I was just going to stop you, just Max and Ruby, and just end there.
It's like, did that tweet mean nothing to you? So yeah, no, I've joked about Max and Ruby, and I've said, and I cannot stress this enough, Ruby and Max, but I haven't seen it written that way, and on my fucking mama, I cannot stress this enough, Ruby and Max.
Oh my God.
But yeah, no, I used to, another thing about branding that I really loved, I don't know if you know this, but you probably do. Hannah Montana season 4 was rebranded as Hannah Montana Forever.
Because it was advertised as like the last season.
The last season, yes.
Yeah.
And that was when she had I think her wig was the longest in that one, and it was very like wavy, but also kind of like crimped, but not really.
The whole premise of that show, just to get back to that, also Big Time Rush, and I'm thinking of now shows that were surrounding singers, and then they actually went on tour as those characters.
Yes.
It's kind of interesting.
Yes, and now they're touring as themselves.
Right, not that Big Time Rush had like characters because they played themselves, and same thing with the Jonas Brothers, but you know, Miley Cyrus was Hannah Montana and all that.
And she toured as Hannah Montana.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Still remember the set list.
She toured as Hannah Montana. The fact that show's premise was that nobody knew who she was because she was blonde. Yeah. Or wore a blonde wig, and then when she was brunette, nobody suspected that she could be mega pop star.
Right. It's funny.
It's kind of funny.
Well, it's hysterical because I remember watching that show in real time and being like, she looks entirely different. She looks like a different person. But then there's a show which I didn't watch. It was like at the tail end of my Disney Channel years, but I didn't watch it. Was Henry Danger, which is funny because same thing. It was on Nickelodeon. His identity, he's a superhero. All he would do, and his identity was a secret too, his true identity. So all he'd do was cover his eyes with this mask, but you could they had holes, and it was his hair was slicked back when he was a hero's sidekick,
superhero.
And it's like, how is that supposed to be believable even to kids? He looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
But
those are funny.
Yeah.
Just for TV, I guess.
Yeah.
But
I used to look forward to the Halloween episodes. I always thought those were cool.
On Disney Plus, they have a whole section for Halloween right now.
I love that.
There's a section of Disney Channel Halloween episodes.
I love that. I'm going to have to hit that up. Did you like those or did you absolutely hate them?
The Halloween episodes?
Yeah.
I liked them.
Really? Some of them were scary. Like, Hold Up is scary to this day.
I mean, yeah. But, like, it was Disney Channel, so you felt like you were safe.
Oh, I did not feel safe in room whatever, 411 or wherever they were. Are you telling... Disney had no business possessing Esteban in the Sweet Life of Zach and Cody episode.
Sweet Life is pretty freaky. Or, like, what was it? What was the janitor's name? Or the custodian?
Arwen?
Arwen?
Yes.
Like Frank and Arwen?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Like,
He's on Disney Channel still. Or I don't know if he is anymore. He played a dad. This is another show I didn't watch, but it was again on the tail end of like when like the last seasons of the shows we still watched. So we watched some of the shows. He was on Nicky, Ricky, Dickie, and Dawn, which was a show about quadruplets in like 2014 or something.
Yeah. That was on Nickelodeon, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So he went to Nick. Yeah. Ooh, a traitor.
Also, the episode I just watched of Sweet Life had Victoria Justice as like a little
Sweet Life. Oh yeah. She was a young kid.
There was a pageant person.
I think
in this episode.
I think Selena Gomez is on it too, as like a love interest, like when she was a kid.
Sweet Life.
Yeah, of Zach and Cody, which is funny because then she played.
But she stayed with Disney.
She did stay with Disney.
Victoria Justice went over to Nickelodeon.
True, but it's interesting because Selena Gomez also played Alex Russo on the Sweet Life. That's So Sweet Life of.
That's So the Sweet Life of no
Wizard. That's So Sweet Life of Waverly Place, I think. It was a crossover between
the Wizards didn't come until Sweet Life
on Deck. Wizards on Deck with Hannah Montana. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So she played
because
herself.
So the Sweet Life of Hannah Montana was the first one.
Yes, we've lost all of the adults in this episode.
I know.
We were talking about like our ghost tours, and we just really went down the rabbit hole.
Went down into the old Disney Channel.
Yeah, but
and now I'm drawing the logo.
Yeah, but it's Point of View instead.
Yeah, it's just a big circle.
Yes. Yeah, I loved the That's So Raven Halloween episode was phenomenal. With the babysitter, revenge-seeking babysitter, something Patty.
I don't remember.
Pushover Patterson. Raven and Corey blamed eating their mom's birthday cake on, and then she comes back and seeks revenge on them, and she's gonna like kill them. Good episode. Cool. Good episode. I watched it recently on YouTube because I was like, and I don't have like a YouTube subscription or anything. I just watched like a rip of it where it's like 20 minutes instead of 30 and they just speed the voices up so everybody talks like a mouse.
And it's super grainy.
Yeah, it's potato quality and they use like a fourth of the screen where it's like download below.
Yeah.
And probably send you to some sketchy website.
You get lots of viruses on your computer.
Yeah. Here, let's make it adult for a second. Guess what I did yesterday?
What did you do yesterday? You had a work event, and you worked at the restaurant.
Oh, that was
wild.
wild.
What else did you do?
The work event was wild. So I got an oil and filter change. So for all you
adults
out there, yeah.
Ooh, the adults are back in. They're tuning in right now.
Yeah, no, I brought what's her face in, Donna, for her.
You forget your child's name?
Not my child. I drive her. But yeah. I took her in and she got her first oil and filter change. And my dad's like, it'll probably be like $40 or something. I was like, okay. $81 later, I'm like, I'm going to drive out of here right now. I'm just going to backing up. I don't even know. It was in Norwell.
Was it like Valvoline or Jiffy Lube?
It was Valvoline. I learned, I didn't know there was a difference between natural oil and synthetic oil, but apparently Donna only takes a hybrid of the two. So $81, but I had a coupon, so it came to $66. And they showed me my oil. They're like, here, your oil's clean. I have no clue what that means. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like, that's great. Looks great. I don't know what I'm looking
Did
for.
they do? Wait, was it the stick thing?
Yeah, what the hell are they showing me? Your oil's clean? How would I know if it was dirty? It looks like sludge. It looks disgusting. What do you mean it's clean? And why do I even need oil?
It keep your. I'm gonna sound like a dumbass because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about when it comes to cars.
Back to Disney.
I think it's to keep your engine well, like lubricated, and not like to not rust and to not get all. We're gonna move on back to Disney.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if any of your cars are looking or out in the market, Donna's oil is clean, and she is ready to mingle.
Don't come to us for car stuff.
Yeah, no.
Because we can't talk about it.
Yes, and it made me late to my second job, which was working for the restaurant. So what did I do? I had my dad drop off McDonald's to me, and I ate it in the back because I wasn't going to ask the kitchen for food while we were busy. So I scarfed down McDonald's, 15 minutes late to work, and then I did the serving.
Could you not have ordered
I could have
food from the restaurant?
I could have, but when the kitchen's, busy, that's kind of like a slap in the face. Like, they're trying to get food out, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to put mine in now. Like,
we should talk about where my mom is right now.
Below deck?
No, she's at. You've heard of Comic-Con. You've been to Comic-Con.
Yes.
She's at BravoCon.
Oh,
in New York City. Right
I've
now.
heard of that. That's cool. Is she with the Desperate Housewives? Is that what they're?
Yes, she's with the Desperate Housewives. Or no, not Desperate Housewives. It's the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills of New York City.
Okay.
Desperate Housewives was like a drama.
Oh, my bad.
She explained this like it's her Super Bowl, which I thought was extremely funny. But it's Comic-Con, but for anyone who knows the Bravo channel, and it's all the shows, all the cast members, or a lot of the cast members from Below Deck, from $1 Million Listing, from all of the Real Housewives. Andy Cohen is there.
Hi, Andy.
And yeah, so she's there, and I can't wait to hear all about it because it just must be
wild
chaos.
Yes.
Yeah, the way she described it is since she was only able to get tickets for today, and it went all weekend, she was like, oh, okay, we'll just pay for the Fast Pass, because apparently there's a Fast Pass ticket and there's a normal ticket.
It literally is her Disney. Or Super Bowl.
Or her Super Bowl. And just like your Super Bowl was the Chromatical Ball.
I've heard of it.
Like, everybody bought Fast Pass tickets, everybody bought VIP entrance.
Right.
So she's still waiting in lines and stuff.
You got to get there early.
It's longer than Disney.
Yeah.
I mean, she took a train early this morning to get down there, but
she's doing the work.
She's putting in the work. I just want to see how, like, her big smile with these people who are like 17 times more rich than I can even imagine being.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up because I think BravoCon is just it's a cool thing, and it started during I think 2019 or 2020, and then it got canceled because of the pandemic. So this is like the first real one that they're doing.
I love that.
So, yeah, if you like, my mom's gonna kill me. If you like trash TV,
I have an itch.
Below Deck's not trash.
That's
a good. You'd enjoy that.
I've seen it. I was at your house.
Below Deck. You've seen Below Deck.
Yeah, when they clean they clean the boats
on the yachts.
The yachts, which
they serve on the yachts.
My family makes fun of me because apparently I say yacht. I say yacht, and they say yacht. What the hell is a yacht? It might be the correct way to say it. I say yacht.
You're screaming right now, by the way.
Sorry.
Like, you're so close to the microphone.
Sorry. I'll back up.
I don't understand what the difference you say yacht?
No, I don't say yacht. That's how they think I say it. I say yacht. Like, Y.
Step away from the microphone, sir.
I say yacht. I just swiveled, and now I'm trying to get back to where I was sitting before.
We're both never gonna have yachts, so we can say it however we want.
No.
It's just how it's gonna be.
You want to hear something wild? Because you asked me about my work event. It was a shred day, and it's
you did that last year.
I did it last year. Yes, I did, and I did it this year too. Except
Has it been a year? Wow,
it has, crazy. But you know who hasn't done it this year, or who didn't do it this year?
Who?
The shred truck. They just did not show up. Like, literally did not show up. Which is such
So
a
what'd
bad
you
look.
do?
It's such a bad look because it's like a free event advertised to the community to come and bring uh your personal files,
Classified
yes,
documents.
that
Yeah,
you
yeah,
want
yeah.
shredded
Classified
by a
documents.
reliable, by your bank.
Yeah.
Uh and that would have been what happened had the shred truck come. But they just did not show up. Like, we called the company, and I believe my supervisor called the company saying, like, tomorrow you'll be there. Yes, you'll be there. It's the same company we've always used. They do our shredding, like our own shredding. And we called them and they're like, yep, they should be there soon. They just did not show up. And so, obviously, the bank being a reliable and secure company and just a secure building, it is a bank. We grabbed our shred bins, like our giant recycling shred bins with the locks, and because people came, it was advertised, so we just
I didn't realize this was a community event because last year I thought it was just you invited employees to just come.
No, it's like for the public.
Advertised.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do a donation, like you pay to have it shredded, and then the money gets reinvested back into the community. This year it was just a free shred event. That's what a lot of other banks are doing, so we decided to do that too.
I see.
But so we brought our bins out. Now, granted, we only had like 3 bins, so it's just like this really sad looking, like, there's 3 bins and a bunch of employees, and then just cars, coming through shredding their things. And we would just say to them, like, the truck didn't show up. You're more than welcome to leave these with us. If you want your boxes back, we can put the stuff in the shred bin. If you don't want your boxes back, then we'll keep them, put them on a cart. We weren't putting them in the bins because we only had 3, and what do you do when they fill? Like, you don't just, they're already in the bin. So we would keep the boxes and we stored them in the bank in a locked room, which I found funny, and because we were like, you're more than welcome to, we're storing them in the locked room, and then the shred company is going to pick them up this week. And we were, saying, if you aren't comfortable with that, we totally understand. This is a free service, so you can take your boxes. We apologize for the inconvenience. And 99% of the people left their stuff. But it was interesting because I find it funny that people are like, yeah, I don't know. And I understand that sentiment, but at the same time, we have all your money.
Yeah.
Right. It's a bank. It is, and someone said this, I would rather it be in a bank than in an accountant's office. And an accountant's office is super secure, but just to the point that there is a vault in there. If anyone breaks in, or the place it's going to be locked in is only accessible to a few employees, high up employees that also have access to all of your information. So
right.
It was really funny to me that it's probably is the safest place. And it's unfortunate because it makes the company look bad. It's you didn't call to confirm. Yes, we did call to confirm, and this is a company we've worked with, the shred company, for years.
Will you be changing shred companies?
We might. I don't know.
Ooh.
I say that in a I don't know way, not there's something internally that I know. First of all, that wouldn't be a me job to change the companies, and I don't have any information on whether or not we are. I can imagine as just a person that the bank is I'm assuming they're very frustrated. Yeah. I was very frustrated. But we made do, and people were very understanding, and we still had the event, and we shredded, people. We out there shredding.
You shredded people? Is that what you
Yes,
said?
we shredded people.
Nick, should we talk about how this episode is kind of our penultimate episode for this year, but it's not really? Should we talk about that plan, or should we wait till next episode?
We can talk about it. We've kind of told people, but it's just reminding you that this is the second to last episode of Point of View for the year, kind of. There's a caveat there, because we will be taking a break until 2023. However, we're going to put out 2 episodes in that period of time just to kind of hold people over, and also to
give you your
dose of dew.
Your dose of dew that your dose of dew that you really need. We know you need.
Yeah, and fortunately for me, we're still going to hang out, so I'll still be having my dose of dew, and
your dose of dew.
And
if anyone actually wants to hang out, reach out,
If we know
give
you.
the
If we
podcast
know
email
you.
and stuff, but if you have,
And
I mean,
lucky for you,
if
or
we don't, we sign autographs.
maybe not, you're going to see me too, so you'll be getting your daily dose of mental illness.
I get that without you.
I love that. I love that for us. Well, let's just air it all out.
Let's just air it all out. But yeah, we'll talk more next episode about it. But just warning you, penultimate episode, kind of ish.
Yes, 59. We're ending at 60. How cool is that?
That's fun. I wonder who wanted to do that.
Me. It was me.
Kind of just worked out that way.
It did kind of just work out. Well, I noticed we were like, how many more do you want to do this year? And I was like, well, 60 is a good number to end on because, like, although I guess we're not really, because when we come back, it's going to be 63 because 61 and 62. But
yeah, we'll talk about numbers.
Yeah,
we'll talk about
numbers. We'll talk about them. We'll talk about them. We'll talk about them. We'll talk about them.
We'll talk about them.
Yeah.
But anyway, that kind of, I mean,
head empty.
Head empty?
Yes. No thoughts, head empty.
I see.
I spilled them all out into my microphone.
Okay.
Was that a stink bug? Hold on. Or a western conifer bug? No, it's a leaf.
Western conifer.
It's a leaf.
Are you okay?
No.
Me neither.
H.
We're just
Nick Travasi and Justin Dew. You can reach us at our email at pointofdewpodcast@gmail.com, or by sending us a voice message on our website, anchor.fm/pointofdew. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Point of Dew Podcast and Twitter at Point of Dew. If you enjoy our show, give us a rating or review wherever you get your podcasts, or share us with a friend or family member. We'd really appreciate it and are truly grateful for your support. As always, we hope you have a great week. Thank you for listening, and until next time,
Paper, we wrote down our stories. We help you to decide they will see the end, of course, because they will carry on. If the other side is a sad story, we'll make good out of it, because we count the times when we were together. Now we're back again, but this time the colors will not be the same. Here's all that was red, faded away 'cause we felt what we got scared to feel, got blown away, ended with brown, so we are coloring to rewrite ourselves.